go with the girl to where she stays in Nairobi. The grandfather refused. Said, no, you will not go with her, because if you are going with her, first come with your husband, introduce him to us so that we know him, and so on and so forth. The girl cannot know what happened, but she could tell there was a disagreement between this daughter, the mother, and the grandfather. The mother went back to Nairobi and left the girl with the grandfather. So that was the end of the mother went back to Nairobi and left the girl. So the girl continued to live with the grandfather. All that time, please remember, I said this girl was cut on her head with a panga, and she lost a, I don't know, pains. Is it pains or liters of blood? So blood that soaked her whole body, so it was a lot of blood. So all this time her grandfather would take her. She was not taken to the hospital, so her grandfather would go with her to the farm where he used to grow cotton and pick some herbs, mash them, and then put on the wound until she was fine. The grandfather has never lied to her. The times they have gone to the farm, the times they have gone to the forest, the times they have gone to harvest cotton, the grandfather has never lied to her. But the grandfather took her to school in a nearby, not actually nearby, it's like 3 kilometers away. And you know, in the village, children gather together. They somehow meet and go, because the school is only one. That place, the school was only one. There's a school that is average, there was a school that was average, and another school that is very bright. So she went to the school that is average. In the village, those days, 1989, that's a long, those are many years ago. People used to write on the floor. So her first time to write, she wrote on the floor. You write 1, you write 2, and so on and so forth. So during this time where the mother wants to take her to Nairobi, she goes to school. And she goes with other village children. So her first language, of course, you could tell, is Kamba. It's her mother tongue. So finally, after like 2 or 3 months, again, that is guesswork, because I don't think she has a recollection of how long it was, of course, being a child. But after some time, we are safe to say after some time, the mother came. And she timed. Imagine, the grandfather was a village elder, so he would be called for cases here and there, like that. So she timed when the grandfather, of course, being the mother, she knew, being the daughter, she knew when the father is around and when he's not. So she timed when the grandfather was not around, and when grandfather would go somewhere, would lock the girl in the house and leave her there, especially when she's going to something called Dome. Dome is a gathering of elders, and children don't go there, and it's purely men. So she would be locked there, but not for long, and there were no issues of, she cannot remember if there were issues of stealing and thieves or something, anything. Nothing happened to her anyway. So every time the grandfather would lock her in the house, go and come back, but he would not stay for long. So I think the mother then timed that the father, the grandfather, is away. So she came, broke the window. Of course, you would be wondering what kind of window was that the mother, a woman, was breaking. In that village, then, 1989, not 89, because now it's like 5 years less, so let's say 94. So the house, 94, 95, the house is made out of mud, and the window is just some put together trees that are not really very strong. Anyone can break, but there are no issues of insecurity, and the house is thatched with grass. So she broke the window. At this time, the girl inside is screaming very loudly, and she's wondering, who is that? This has never happened. And then the mother called her. So she looked through the window, she pulled a chair, stepped on it. And when I say a chair, I'm not talking about the chair that we know for today. It is a chair that is made out of sticks. but it's a chair. I don't know how to explain it. Some of those chairs, when we see, they are mostly used by white people or Western. When they come to Africa, they find them very interesting. But now for that girl then, it was a sign of poverty anyway. That's how she would view it. So she pulled a chair, stepped on it, and saw the mom. This lady that she was introduced to as the mom. She's wondering, why did you come? Of course, she trusts the grandfather more than the mom. And the grandfather has always told her, don't leave this place. At that point, it's around 4 p.m. It's in the evening. So as she screams, the mom gave her biscuits and another dress and told her, I want to go with you. You are my daughter. And convinced her, and she agreed. So somehow the mother gave her, I don't want to say a thread. This is the problem of not knowing a lot of English. But ilikuwa kamba, kama ya kufunga ng'ombe, kiondo, kamba. So she, mukwa. Mukwa. If anyone knows what mukwa is, please type and tell us what mukwa is. Me, I don't know what mukwa is. Any mukamba or Kikuyu that knows what mukwa is, I think you know what I'm talking about. So gave her mukwa, she held her to the mukwa and came out. So, and they ran with the mother. The mother carried her and ran, disappeared. Please remember, the nearest bus stop is like 3 hours away if you decide to walk. And so they walked, and night came. So the mother went under a fence, swept under a fence, made sure there were no thorns, put a lasso, and they slept there that night under a fence. The following day, they woke up early in the morning. The mother carried the girl and they began again the journey. They go to the bus stop and there they went. They got into the first time that girl to get into a vehicle. It was a canter that carried charcoal. From those sides, I think they were going to sell somewhere. And that girl was very scared. She cried throughout the journey because it was her first time. One, she used to see vehicles, but it was her first time to be in a vehicle, and it is moving. And in her mind, she used to see trees passing them. So she was thinking, these trees are running. What is happening? And she's vomiting and so on and so forth. So finally, they got into Nairobi, Kibera. And she was so fascinated by many people, a place with a lot of lights. It looked like heaven. This girl used to be taken by her grandfather to a church called ABC. So, and she would hear stories of how heaven looks like. It's a place of gold and silver and all those things. But of course that was explained in her mother tongue and she would understand. So she has come to that place where her mother has taken her. It looks like heaven. Everything is so nice. There are so many people. She's scared of the people. She's scared of... she saw a railway station. She's even scared. What is this? She has never seen a railway station. Something that resembles a railway station that she used to see back at home with her grandfather is a certain, I think, piece of a railway station that the grandfather used to sharpen his tools for going to the farm. So that's all she knew. Into the city, and life in the city began right there.